Welcome to this week's video. My name is Caitlin and we are doing a freezer clean out challenge. To kick us off, we are making this simple pasta salad. I've just chopped up some medium-sized pepperonis along with 1/4 cup of purple onion. While chopping everything up, I'm cooking about a half a box of bow tie pasta. And then for our dressing, I'm using a half cup of the Olive Garden Italian dressing. Any dressing will work. Stir this together and place this in the fridge to let it cool down. You could definitely add in some more things like some black olive.
I am going to add a little bit of parsley, plain Italian seasoning.
To serve with our pasta salad, I'm making these country style ribs on the pit. This is such an inexpensive meat. I absolutely love it, but you do have to be careful because sometimes it can be a little too fatty. Before our seasonings, I just had parsley, smoked paprika, seasoned salt and onion powder. With a little olive oil, I'm just rubbing everything in together.
We did the country style ribs, a side of ranch style beans, and then I'm just having mine with that pasta salad. I'm gonna add a little bit more pepperoni since somebody jacked mine as I was making them, and that is gonna be our meal for tonight.
This is my take on my mom's beef skillet fiesta. I've diced up a 1/4 cup of white onions and a little over a half of red bell peppers, seasoning 1 pound of ground beef with taco seasoning, and into a hot skillet with olive oil. Cook down your bell peppers for a few minutes. Then add in your white onions. Follow this with 1 teaspoon of garlic, and I'm using this pre-minced just to go ahead and use it up to get it out of my fridge. So at this point, I added in this sidekick beans, which are pinto beans, red chili sauce, cumin, and jalapenos. And I actually wish I would have drained them first or something, maybe just cooked them without everything, because I felt like they were a little too saucy. And I knew that with my ground beef that it was going to have a lot of grease because it's the 80/20, I think that's what we picked up, but it had a lot of grease, so I removed everything and I went ahead and cooked up the hamburger meat by itself. Once it was basically done, I added in 2 ounces of green chilies and 1 can of green enchilada sauce. I added back in my mixture of beans and peppers, added some cheese, and we're just going to cook this at 350 just for a few minutes until that cheese is nice and melted. This was just super simple, got a lot of cans out of my pantry. Now, fair warning, this jalapeno soup packs a punch. I'm dicing up 2 garlic cloves along with a little I have left in this jar, 4 jalapenos, 1 red bell pepper, and a 1/4 cup of white onions. While I'm cutting everything up, we are just going to cook down 4 to 6 slices of bacon. Once that is done, just set your bacon to the side. I did go ahead and drain out the grease, but we will be using the clean grease, about 2 teaspoons worth. Pour in all of your veggies and just cook these down until everything is nice and softened. Now, for our meat, I was going to use that clearance ground pork that I've had for a while, but it ended up not smelling right and I didn't want to tempt it. And the only other meat I had sitting out was this hot breakfast sausage. It definitely upped the spice level for this soup, but I really enjoyed it. For the seasonings, add 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of pepper. Pour in 4 cups of chicken broth and bring this to a boil. Once you have it at a boil, we are just going to stir in 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. You really want to make sure that you're stirring this entire time because that cream cheese does take a few minutes to melt down and you don't want it to get curdled. Once fully combined, add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. I added in 1 teaspoon of almond flour just to kind of thicken the soup up a little bit. I loved the spice that this soup brought. It was honestly my favorite dish out of this whole video, but just stir until it is fully combined and it is ready to serve.
We are just going to cook up some steaks along with the green beans. Sheldon is doing a massive sirloin. He's going to split this with Blair. And then I am just doing a flat iron steak. Y'all have seen me cook this a bunch of times. We just did seasoned salt, garlic powder, and pepper. And then we are just going to throw these out on the grill.
For some reason, I was craving green bean casserole. I have no idea why, but I had all these ingredients left over from Thanksgiving and I needed to clear them out. So to an oven-safe dish, add in 1 can of cream of mushroom and 2 teaspoons of bacon grease for some extra flavoring. And I spilled a little bit too much of my onion powder, so I did 1.5 teaspoons worth. Then add 1 teaspoon of garlic powder and seasoned salt. For the pepper, I like it extra peppery, so I just added my pepper in as I stirred everything together. Pour in 2 cans of drained green beans, top it with bacon, and usually you would pour in milk at this point, but I didn't have any, so I just finished mine off with this sour cream to get it out of my fridge, about 1/4 a cup or so. Stir in 1/2 cup of the onion strips, and then we are just going to place this in the oven at 350 for 30 minutes until it's fully cooked. If you want to learn how I meal planned all of this with reverse meal planning, check out this video here, and I'll catch you guys there.